Hello, everybody. We are Bridging Realms with Melody Pash, and this is my team member, Darla.
Hello.
Hello, Darla.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We are going to do a dream today called Trump and His Mini Closets, which will be fun. That'll be a fun one. All right, so I'm going to read through, and then we'll go back through it again like we always do. All right, President Trump was walking through many buildings, and the bad guys in black suits are following him. Bad guys in black suits are following him. They want to kill him. I keep giving him a heads up on where not to go through dreams from the Lord, like where the bad guys plan to be. I'm walking around too. They do not perceive me as a threat or even pay any attention to me. The bad guys are so focused on finding Trump and killing him that they don't see me or notice me. I see and follow Trump while he's walking around in these buildings that are not well lit, very dark. The bad guys in black are trying to find out where the treasure is, where Trump keeps his gold, his money. Seems like Trump is planning on giving it to the American people in the dream, and the bad guys don't want him to do that. The location of what's important to Trump is inside of Trump's closets, and there are many closets in multiple buildings. In the dream, I get the sense it's like Trump knows he's going to die. While in this building, I see a room to the right. It's located at the top of a stairwell. I enter in, and there's a woman and a man who plans to rape her. This woman isn't fighting back or even trying. I come in the room, and this guy is thinking he's going to rape me as well. He has that demeanor. Both of us. And she disagrees. The dreamer disagrees. Somehow everything is okay now, and the scene changes. Something about a lottery and where we will eat. Someone hands me a piece of paper from the lottery drawing, and I got Little Caesars. So, Little Caesars, fast food, pizza place. I say, okay, yeah, I like Little Caesars. I see a vision of the Little Caesars drive-through in Oklahoma. I notice there are two bad guys following me and someone else who is with me now. I ask the leader if I can be dropped off at a mall. I'm not really wanting to go to the mall. I'm planning this for distraction and an escape. I act like Suhek from the show The Middle, who apparently, in case you guys have not seen that show, is a little flighty and kind of goofy. And they agree to drop me off and a little kid with me. The mall is huge with lots of people, very chaotic. And there is this huge slide on a playground that's very busy. I get to the top, I climb up, I get to the top, slide down and hide in the masses of children and leave with whoever this kid is with me, out of reach and sight from the enemy. And that's where the dream ends. Okay. Some interesting stuff here, Darla. This is a crazy one.
Crazy. That's where we are.
Another crazy one. So typical. All right, so I'm going to get started. I'm going to let you start giving me some ideas here. President Trump is walking through many buildings, and the bad guys in black suits are following him. Okay, let's start there because we talked about the buildings being structures, but you go ahead, Darla, and give me, I know you had some ideas there.
Well, I feel like, his many buildings, he was, he is in real estate, and he knows building in the physical, but also in governmental things. He's been building these last 4 years like nobody's business. And, we haven't been able to see it until just before he was even president. We began seeing the buildings. So um, I, I do feel like this is political, and that there are those who truly, literally would like to kill him. Now, thank goodness for our little dreamer here who says she keeps giving him a heads up on where not to go,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
So she's getting strategy in her dreams, right?
In her dreams. Yeah. So, like where the black guys or bad guys plan to be. So,
Okay.
and she's walking around seeing things for herself. And it's hard to
But
stop
they,
here.
okay. All right. And they don't perceive her as a threat or even pay any attention to her. The bad guys are so focused on killing Trump. Okay. All
Now, isn't
righty.
that familiar? Because that feels like how we have been kind of oppressed, in our area, and it's been hard. And to have the pride of the opposition looking at us like you're stupid. You don't know how government works. You don't know how people need to function. Everything is just so opposite, and they're just so bold that they don't see us as a threat. So that has allowed a lot of underground time, which, thank goodness, it's been taken advantage of.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. And those structures, all the buildings, they might represent, just all of what Trump is building in the nation right now, or the administration is building in the nation right now. But yeah, it's like the two parties. I think you put this note on it. It's like the two parties kind of look at each other in that sort of reproachful way, like they don't really know what's going on. They're not paying any attention, especially, I'm going to use the word liberal instead of a party, but where the liberals, they just overlook anybody who's trying to tell the truth. And they're trying to negate the truth by saying, oh, that person's it's a conspiracy theory, right? It's a conspiracy theory. Don't listen to that. They don't even know what they're talking about, right? So yeah, they don't see the truth as a threat, which is that's a really bad decision on their part. Because the truth is a weapon, right?
It is. It is. And rather than be focusing, on the truth, their anger is leading.
Right. And the dreamer is getting strategy. So the dreamer is connected and kind of watching out for the truth. I mean, we can kind of look at President Trump in this dream as literally the truth, where he's been building structures of accuracy and truth and putting it out there. The guys in the black suits, they remind me a little bit of some of the 3-letter agencies who would like to take him out.
And, the reality is that I think most of us have just been so confounded by is the idea that, it feels like, show me. We're at a point where we just say, show me something. The big mouths have had their way for so long, and all through businesses, all through politics, all through the school systems, the medical systems, you name it. But yet, where's the fruit? Where's the good things? Even I'm sorry, I just got distracted. even in the Bible, Jesus said, we're really not to judge people by anything but their fruit. So what is the fruit? What is happening? And we have to say things have not stopped happening. We can't even keep up with them, for these
Right.
next few weeks.
There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of movement, a lot of promises. What's that motto they've been using? Promises made, promises kept. There's a lot of activity, right? There's a lot.
Yeah, there is.
I wonder too if the dreams giving him a heads up, if those represent the plans that that the administration has come up with, like Doge, like the let's do this with the FBI or CIA or the IRS, or like the revelation that he's getting, the plans that he's getting. We know he's brilliant, but I'm talking about in a metaphoric way as well.
Mm.
So those dreams could be more than just strategy to keep him alive. They could also be some of the strategy and the plans that are keeping the promises coming.
Yeah.
Keeping the promises made.
And
Yeah.
for years we've wondered where are all the other like-minded people, because we've kind of been forced
Right.
in the corner and whispering, but now people are coming out and being activated in what they really wanted all along. There's
Yeah.
just been that pause, which I think is paying off, because it wasn't wasted time for the last 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been this very long wait. It feels like a very long wait, right? Where
does.
people have desired change, and lots of people have promised change, but we haven't seen change.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it. We haven't received what we've been looking for, and that is change, drastic change. Yeah, that's good. But the bad guys are so focused on just finding and taking Trump out. And, that can be metaphoric as well as literal. I mean, we know that they're literally, they would like to take him out, but we also know that, who was it? The Congressman Al Green from the State of the Union speech the other night got thrown out of the chambers, and he's now saying, we're going to get him out of there, Trump. We're going to get Trump out of there. We're going to impeach him. I'm writing up impeachment papers now, even again. Yeah, again.
How many times have they tried to put him in jail, and the attempts on his life, literal attempts on his life. But I mean, they were probably talking impeachment before he ever actually was inaugurated.
Oh, you know it.
But it's really cool that this dreamer gets to wander around through those buildings.
I know.
Gets to see what's hidden.
Right. That dreamer is probably moving in the spirit and is seeing a lot of governmental things in the dreams, right? Going into those realms.
Well, and it's amazing to me, as much as what has been happening, that it was kept quiet enough for so long. I mean, because I feel like we're just stepping into the new change of America, and so much has already happened, but it has been in the dark. I mean, it has managed to stay secret and quiet and underground. But at the same time, it's building our new nation. And
and speaking of darkness, and even the situation with people who are fragmented and I think of the military people who have suffered through MK Ultra. You can call me a conspiracy theorist. It won't hurt my feelings, but they are saying that there is a 3-letter agency that is actually trying to take Trump out, facilitating through the mentally deficit with MK Ultra is one of the things that I have been hearing. So that would explain some things. That
Yeah.
would explain, just the strangeness of the situations and the circumstances where we don't understand what's going on. So, what were they doing? What were they thinking? You know what I'm saying? It's like very odd, very odd. Wow. So the dreamer says, I see and follow Trump while he's walking around in these buildings. So he's going from building to building that, again, are dark, not well lit, which may also mean they just have not been fully developed yet. Right?
Yeah.
We're sort of flying in the dark when we're starting something new, and until it's fully developed and it has to evolve as the plans come out. And you've got Elon over here working with Doge, and you've got other people working, Tulsi Gabbard and all these, Pam Bondi, and they all have these plans and agendas that they're trying to utilize to sort of turn this very
come in.
I think we froze again.
You're back. Okay. So
back again. Okay.
And to add cash that.
Yeah, and Kash Patel, right? All those people that we love. That this new administration is developing. They're in the process of coming up with the ideas, building these agendas. That's those. I think they could be the structures. Some of those structures, and they have to build out. They have to build out. They build a. You build a framework, and then you have to build the rest of it out, and it has to evolve and develop until it's complete. And we're in the dark in some aspects until they are fully developed and fully complete, where they're completely in the light. Right now, some of it is still undercover, and so still in the darkness, right?
Yeah. And she's also
a lot. Don't you love this dream? Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
Well, no, and the dreamer wants to know where he keeps his treasure.
Right?
Don't we all?
I love that. I love that. Trying to find where the treasure is, where Trump keeps his gold and his money. I think you've got 3 things happening here. The treasure is like the national treasure, like the nation's treasure, which I think could be generational inheritance on the spiritual side. Then the gold, which is supposed to be backing the nation's finances. And then the money, which is all of the trillions of money that they are finding through Doge, right? And I think you and Jill had some other thoughts on that as well. You want to?
Well, you hear things, so you hear perhaps Rome, and what else? Have they found that, or is there, because they're not coming out with everything that they find as they find it. I think they're being very wise in putting out their information. But I think his true treasure is the people. I think truly he loves.
Absolutely. He has that demeanor, doesn't he?
Yeah, they're very protective of of our backyard
which
and our
is
front yard.
fabulous. You
Yes.
gotta love it. You gotta love it. Yeah. Yeah, it could definitely, the treasure, the money, the gold, all of this could be connected to what's been, as we know, stolen from the people. And there are many who say that it's at the Vatican. It's in Rome, and it's in ancient Rome. So if we look back at just uh, some of those pieces, it does begin to sort of make sense and sort of fall into place, though, without going into a lot of detail. But seems like Trump is planning on giving it to the American people. He has been talking about a stimulus, that they have found so much money that's been stolen from the people that they're talking about giving. I know that they said at first maybe a $5,000 check. I've heard that it might be more than that because they've found so many trillions of dollars. I don't know, but even the 5,000, just think of that as just grace and favor, just a multiplication of grace and favor, just a renewing of and a return, a restoration, reconciliation of much of the inheritance and the wealth and the treasures of the people that have been stolen through slush funds and through all kinds of laundering through the government. We know that's happening. We know it's happening. Yeah, the bad guys definitely do not want him to give away the money they have they've been so busy stealing, and had to set up specific systems for that, systems where they could actually launder the money and get it where they wanted it, whether that be through the elite or the Illuminati or whatever. We know it's going through many hands. A lot of them are corporations, NGOs. We know that because they're finding it, right?
Yeah.
The location of what's important to Trump is inside of Trump's closets, and there are many closets in multiple buildings. Yeah, somebody put that might be your note about the working these last 4 years to be building something that's true, that's real, that's goal backed, and is going to be something valuable for the people because it was taken from the people. In the dream, I get the sense it's like Trump knows, okay, that he's going to die. Okay. Now, we know that die in dreams a lot of times is metaphoric, and I'm wondering if his first administration is what the death was to, rather than to him in this dream, that it would represent his first administration, which he wasn't quite ready for. He did a lot, but he had to learn a lot in the process as well. But he's also been gathering, I guess this could be some of his treasures. He's been gathering, from what I understand, this administration has been gathering some evidence and some things have been happening where we see CEOs stepping down. We've seen a couple of people die. We've seen literally die, but I'm wondering if this is all about the current and future administration, future period of this administration, current administration, where in the past that while Trump was having to learn who he could trust, who he shouldn't be trusting, that system had to die because that would not serve, it didn't serve him and it didn't serve the American people to the fullest extent, right? It didn't.
And then too, there might have been a tick more pride in the first administration that needed to be brought,
Yeah.
there's such a humility about him now that, I mean, he says what he still has to say, but he's so much more diplomatic about it. I think sometimes
Yeah.
it still kind of ekes out here and there, but there's something that has died, that I think a lot of people found just in his personality a little bit repulsive. And now
Yeah.
you see a much more gentle, man. Still
Yeah.
says and does what, I mean, he doesn't.
Well, I think he's being more, I don't know. I'm going to say, I think he's being more of his authentic self.
Yeah.
I think he's putting himself out there, but rather than to an administration he can't trust, he's putting himself out there to his true treasure, which is, as you said, the American people. And if the American people are going to put their trust in him,
Yeah.
then he should be able to reciprocate.
Yeah.
Because look at the people that were trying to take care of him in Butler that were attendees of that rally, and they were all like, "There's somebody with a gun," right? It's
Yeah.
the people love him. I'm not talking about everybody. I get it. I get it.
When he rose up, because what you expect him to do is be covered and snatched out of there. But he rose up and fight. And boy, I'll tell you, both my husband and I said, all right, I'm all in. This
That
guy
changed everything for a lot of people, didn't it?
would, yes.
It's like if he's willing to stand up, and he really was, he was putting himself out there because it's like they had a headshot.
Yeah, and
getting him off the stage.
And what did he have to say is, I get my shoes.
I love it.
It was,
right?
the most surreal thing ever. But
metaphorically, though, it's important for him to have what he needs to be walking in.
Yes.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
I loved. And the fist in the air, I mean, people see that as rebellion, but it was more of a unified, we will not surrender. And that's what the people needed to see. The people needed to see him in that vulnerable place where they could put their trust in a leader that was willing to give his life for the American people if he needed to. And I believe he is that man. I do. And I believe that there are many on the administration, in his cabinet, that feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, and to see it raw like that, when he by all rights should have been dead, but yet he just made him more mad and put him right back in the game, that matador.
Right. And interesting, in the earlier part, the dreamer said that God was giving her dreams with strategy to give him a heads up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Heads up. Your head's about your authority. He turned his head at Butler, so all that was pierced was his ear, but he got the heads up.
He got the message, didn't he? Heard loud and clear.
Absolutely. Heard that bullet going by, didn't he?
Yeah, and it was funny there for a while. People had patches on their ears.
Oh, really? I missed that. Oh, that's great.
Flag.
Oh, that's great. I love that. How funny. Yeah. I love the way people go about showing their support. It's fun, isn't it?
It is.
It's like, I just want to show my support in some way.
It is. And their family must have such a sense of humor. I was listening to an interview, and one of the older brothers, Don Jr., I believe, said, they asked, how did you take that phone call? How did you react? And they said, well, our family is just goofy that way. And so he said, Dad, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. I'm alive. I no problems at all. And he goes, okay, but how's the hair?
That's awesome.
Because, yeah, the
Well,
hair's
that is
still a
his
little gray.
signature, isn't it? His hair. I love it.
Yeah, and their humor about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I
How
just,
it's
that
sweet
family,
though. It's sweet, isn't it?
it is.
And it shows how close they are.
Yeah, and how much healing,
Yeah.
like the word says that laughter is a good medicine.
Oh man, no kidding.
Can't get enough of that.
I love that. I love that. That's so good. Okay, so the dreamer says, while in this building, this one building, I see a room to the right. Right is typically on the natural side or where you're strongest. Typically, your right side's your strongest, unless you're left-handed, but typically. It's located at the top of a stairwell. Okay, now a stairwell, you're going to have to rise or climb a stairwell. And Darla, you definitely had a thought on that. And I'm going to let you bring that out and then I'm going to piggyback on it.
Okay. Well, the first thing when I read this, a stairwell, why on earth a stairwell? And immediately in my mind, I saw the Tower of Babel being built. This was hard work, but they were dedicated and, God had to put a stop to it.
Absolutely. And if that is, and in so many ways, it is the construct over the US, has been for many decades, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just, I won't go into all of that, but just the way the elitists have built a Marxist system and where the people are supposed to be the slaves, the serfs, and we've been under that slavery and under that bondage for so many years, just like the children of Israel were, 400 years under Egypt's slavery. And the time is now, isn't it? The dreamer says, I enter into this building and there's a woman and a man and there's a man there who plans to rape her in this room. The woman not fighting back or not causing a ruckus, to me, is that fear base that they have released over the nation, where the masses have been afraid of the IRS, afraid of the FBI, afraid of the government altogether. And so, God forbid, we even make a boo-boo, we make a mistake, and they're going to throw us in jail. I mean, that's communism.
Boy.
But that victimization, that spirit of victimization, is so much what keeps us from fighting the enemy and the opposition and opposing the enemy. Even if the enemy is not that strong, we bow out of fear and paralysis, intimidation, right? You look like you're fixing to say something. Go ahead.
No, it's exactly true. And what was the solution? Just simply disagree. Say it's not going to
right?
happen.
Yeah.
What we do.
Yeah. The dreamer said, I came into the room and this guy's thinking he's going to rape me too. And she's like, I completely disagree with that. And stand strong. And yeah, but that place of not coming into agreement, isn't that a huge thing, even in the body of Christ, where we, even with our mouths and our minds, first with our minds, but we come into agreement with what the enemy says about us. And then we wonder why we're experiencing what the prosecution, what the accuser has put on us. And we feel like we're cursed. Yes, we came into agreement with it, which is placating, and it's a tacit agreement. It's allowing the victimization.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's amazing too, in how in this dream, what a powerful resource to just to realize, oh, I don't have to agree with this, you know? I can
Right? I don't have to go along with this. I don't have to bow to this. I
Yeah.
don't have to allow this situation to take advantage of me, to use me, to violate me. There's a lot there.
There is.
But that's how the United States has been plundered and raped and pillaged.
Yeah, I remember that they used to be kind of the joke, especially with the draft going on and all the different things that that they would say, yeah, the way to get to make your nation prosperous, not the United States, is to go to war with the United States. They'll win the war and then they'll come in and rebuild your nation for you. And you know?
What a coup. I mean,
Yeah,
what a great way to get a renovation.
man. That is that
Scary.
I agree.
It's a little scary. Okay, so then something about a lottery of where we will eat. Someone hands me a piece of paper from the lottery drawing, and I got Little Caesars. It's fast food pizza. I say, okay, I like Caesar's pizza. I see a vision of Little Caesars drive through in her hometown. Now, what do you think about this, Darla? Because lottery to me it's a risk. It's something you invest in, but with 1,000,000 to 1 chances that you might actually win a pot of millions of dollars, it's a risk. So it's a gamble.
It is. And again, it's kind of a thing with peers, you know, "Oh, stop and grab me a few lotto tickets," you know, and people joke about, you know, it's funny how deep this is in our society. You know, it seems like a little hidden thing in gas stations or wherever it is, but, you know, people say, "Wow, I won the lottery," you know, saying, you know, "I got a good deal on my car," or, you
Right,
know, "We found this great
right.
house that we wanted to move into," or whatever. But the reality of and the lottery is where to eat. And so that's all of this risk or all of this effort is put into where are we going to eat? And then we see, you know, she got Little Caesars, but you know, and then so we look at Caesar and
Yeah.
Little
These are
Caesar,
coming up. So again, so there's your Rome and the Vatican. Yep.
right?
And
And
then
you
you've
know,
got go ahead.
well, I was going to fly a little different direction, but go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, also, you know, Little Caesars is gold. You know, Caesar's the coin, the
Mhm.
Caesar's his face is on his coin, his gold coins. Um, but I feel like this is kind of a flip flop of, you know, the promise. There is a promise of a flip flop here, rather than Caesar taking all of the gold. That you know, in a way, here's our golden president.
Yeah,
You know, taking Little Caesar's gold.
yeah. And then interesting that it's pizza, and
Yeah.
that takes me, I mean, it could have been anything else. Again, I mean, we had a dream 2 weeks ago where pizza came up and we were hearing Pizzagate
Yeah.
and some of uh the wealth that has landed in people's pockets and coffers have been connected to the child trafficking, the human trafficking, but the child trafficking. And that has become very, very, very big business. Um, just so sad. I don't even have a nicer word than that.
Yeah.
Uh, but horrible. Horrible.
It is.
Okay,
It's really awful.
then the dreamer has a vision of a drive-through, so it's something easily accessible. So on the side of the metaphoric or the spirit where the food is easily accessible, the nourishment would be easily accessible, but the unredemptive side of that is also this child trafficking has become very, very accessible.
Yeah.
Because we know that people were ordering children by using words and using a language that was about ordering a pizza or a hot dog or a whatever. Just makes me sick.
It is horrid. It is horrid. I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that just honestly can't hardly sleep at night, because here we are wanting to protect our children, and yet, seeing the access. I think the border will be a big deal. I'm so glad that that was set in
Huge.
place.
I think so, yeah.
I'll bet there are more plans too, I hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I noticed there are 2 bad guys following me and someone else who is with me now. I asked the leader if I can be dropped off at a mall. I immediately heard the DC mall. So we're talking about Washington, DC again, and just the cabal, the whole system there. She says, I'm not really wanting to go to the mall. I'm planning this for a distraction and escape. And she starts acting kind of flighty and weird and a little crazy, like the little gal in the show The Middle, and to distract them and to get them to drop her off out of their hands because she's acting stupid. So, but they drop her off with a little kid. So here we've got a child involved now.
Mm-hmm.
So the someone else with her is a child. And so she gets dropped off there. But that was a good way. That was a good thought for getting away, for distracting and getting away. A good escape. That was good. You got anything else there, Darla?
Well, I like the middle aspect of this, the title of the movie or the series. I guess I've never watched it, but I think I'm going to have to look it up. But there's a justice in the middle child, that they're always saying, I'm a middle child, so I can say this, that the other ones get away with everything. They get their privacy, their cars, their time, the younger one just gets away with everything because they're cute, and so here's the middle person always holding that, weighing that justice, but nothing's ever fair. It just never really works out. And Jill, when she had looked at this, she said, ooh, that's the middle class.
Oh, that's so good. Good job, Jill.
Good job, Jill. Yeah. And that
overlooked, right? Overlooked.
Yeah, but expected to keep, the backbone of America running.
Exactly.
So there is a definite place.
That is so good. I'm glad you remembered that and brought that up. Yeah, that is so accurate. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, speaks to most of us.
No kidding.
But yeah, and then in the Word too, David acted insane. King David, before he was actually king, in order to escape. Yeah, so her strategy here was very creative and very I'm going to act like this teenage girl and annoy everybody. So when I say I want off at the mall, they're going to say, go.
Right.
And, maybe.
But you're right. Yeah, King David was acted crazy. So he wouldn't be killed, right?
Right.
So that no one would know he was king.
Yeah, I'd have to read that again, but he's
Yeah, I don't know,
he
but it was
knew
very clever, and
he
yeah,
knew who
clever
he
on her
was.
part.
That
I
Yeah.
like that. We'll have to remember that strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so then she says, the mall is huge with lots of people. Okay, so you got a lot of traffic there, very chaotic. And there's a huge slide on the playground that's very busy. I get to the top. So she has to climb to the top. That to me is like the top of the political game,
Mhm.
like the people in DC work so hard in politics to get to the top of the game. And then she says, and I slide down and hide in the masses of children. So it's always a quick trip back down, isn't it? When you're losing your momentum, but it takes
Mhm.
years to climb to the top, typically. And then she hides with the other children. And I think you said something about that, about who the children represented, which I think does make sense.
Well, yeah, the new up and coming and current administration, the ones
There
who
you go. That
really
makes
aren't
sense.
thoroughly known.
Yeah, like they're young because they're not well known and they've not been in the political sphere. But thank God they haven't been in the political. I mean, the president is very wise to be choosing differently this time around.
Yeah. And they also represent a new vision.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she slides down, she gets and she leaves with the kid, whoever the little kid was with her,
The vision.
which might just represent the next generation, like a new vision, like the next generation in the US, the next generation coming up in the US, the masses in the US. And then they're out of reach and sight of the enemy. Wow. Wow. That is very good. Oh, she said she had a short dream before that. I forgot to read this, explaining the Las Vegas Strip to someone, like where all of the famous hotels and casinos are, and how they're all lined up on the Strip. And then you had some notes on that. So I wonder if Caesar's Palace. Okay, so she was thinking about Caesar's Palace because she was explaining the Strip and all of the very famous hotels there in Vegas. And this was right before the dream we just finished processing. So what were you saying about all of the hotels being lined up on the Strip, Darla?
Well, the way they could be. I'm not familiar with Las Vegas, but you always see pictures of the Strip, and we've many friends have brought us back pictures and talked about. But to me, all I see are dominoes set up
Mm,
and just ready, to be knocked down with it, not physically, but metaphorically. That a new kind of gold, you know, will be brought up there. And I've heard there are prophetic words that Las Vegas will in time be a hub, of
yeah.
the kingdom.
Oh, I had a prophetic vision over Las Vegas. This has been
Oh.
years ago, um, where I was seeing liquid gold running down the strip, the street,
Mm.
just running through the strip. And as I was looking, the Lord said, "It's my glory." And it
Oh.
changed everything. And all the little chapels, like all the little wedding chapels that are on the strip, the Lord said, those are going to be for healing. Those are going to be healing
Mm.
rooms. People are going to go in there and they're going to ask for people to pray for them for healing. He told me several other things too, some of which I don't remember, but I wrote it down, but it was years ago. But that was a big word over Las Vegas. And it was very interesting because I wasn't even in Vegas when he gave me that word. I wasn't thinking about Las Vegas when he gave me that word. So it
Huh.
was very interesting. But yeah, oh, he said, I'm going to change the city of the city called Sin
Oh,
to a city of healing. Now that's interesting because a lot of people have really lost their soul, so to speak, in Las Vegas. That's something we would think of, it's like talking about, falling into a bondage or the gambling and all of it. But he was saying, no, that's going to be a city of healing. It's going to be a refuge in a city of healing. So we're declaring that right now in the name of Jesus and saying we come into agreement again with that, and also with all of the closets that President Trump has, where the treasures of America and the inheritance of America, our go back finances and our finances are all covered in the blood of Jesus, and the treasure of the American people are covered in the blood and protected in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
This is another great dream.
Yeah, and they seem so impossible when you first
look at it and go, what the heck?
And then all this wonderful stuff comes. Thank you, Lord.
It's so wonderful. I love it. I love it. Well, we love you guys so much. I just want to thank you again for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again next Friday. But thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon with Bridging Realms and the team.
Bless you. Bye-bye.